Hello, boys and girls. It's Mr. Morton here once again. I want to say welcome and thank you for coming to watch my video. Today, we are going to focus on what is one of Mr. Morton's most favorite parts of grammar and reading, and that is domain-specific vocabulary. And I say this every year to my students. Domain-specific vocabulary is so super important. And it's one of the things that I believe if a child masters, it's one of those things that could directly impact their reading a great deal. If you focus on vocabulary words as a student, it helps you read and it helps your fluency and it helps everything that has to do with reading. So I take this very seriously and I love teaching this lesson. So let's get started. We have two objectives for today, and they are as follows. We can use context clues to determine the meaning of unfamiliar words, and we can use reference materials to confirm the meaning of unfamiliar words. Now, there's some words in there that you might not understand, like context clues and reference materials. So I'm going to go over those. Context clues are the clues that you receive from the text. When you're reading, you look and you say, hey, I'm reading this story and there's a word that I don't understand. Whenever you look around that word, sometimes, a lot of times, there are context clues or clues in the text, within the text, that can actually help you understand what the word is, even though you haven't seen it. Okay? Likewise, we are also going to focus on reference materials. And reference materials are simple. It's simply the books and the sources that we use in order to get better. So in this case, the reference material will be the actual story we are reading, which is Election Day. Okay? Reference materials can serve electronically. They can be electronic. They can be paper, they can be newspapers, they can be whenever you refer to something. So this is important because you're going to need this throughout the school year as well. For this lesson, we have two essential questions. The first one is, what are domain-specific vocabulary words? And the second one is, how do we determine the meaning of domain-specific vocabulary words? Domain-specific vocabulary words or vocabulary is the language or word choice that is directly related to the class for which you are writing. What that means is it is the language that is used for the specific thing we are doing. So your language for math may sound different than what you say in your language for reading and writing. For example, if I'm on the playground, I have different domain-specific vocabulary words like slide and run and jump and monkey bars. Okay, those are domain-specific vocabulary words for recess. If I'm in the cafeteria, I don't necessarily use monkey bars. So monkey bars are not a domain-specific vocabulary word for the cafeteria. However, you might have words like tray and food, snacks, okay, things that are involved there. So likewise, when we're reading and dealing with vocabulary words in reading in language arts, we have words that are specific to what we are reading. So right now we are reading a story called Election Day. So that means we will probably have words that are centered around elections and things that are presidential and voting and things of that such, okay? So you're going to look out for those words, and we're actually going to provide them for you in this lesson. Reference materials are sources you use to gain information. So like I said, books, you can use Google, like the websites, and different things, encyclopedias, whatever you can get information from, as long as it is factual. meaning it is real and it is true. For your grammar assignment today, we're going to do a domain-specific vocabulary chart. As you notice at the top of this chart, we have, let's read the instructions first. Instructions: find the words in the story, Election Day, and fill in the chart. The first word has been completed for you. So if you see it says word and it says a big word called paragraph, okay? The paragraph number is where you can actually find the word. So when you refer to the story, if you notice, as I said before, we have numbers like number 1, number 2, number 3. Those are the paragraphs, okay? You can also use those for sequence. We're going to, you already have the words and you have the paragraph where the words are located. So what you need to do is read the paragraphs and find the context clues that could tell you what this word may mean. The same for this word, and this word. For example, I did the word poles. Okay, now this sounds similar to poles, like a pole in the ground, right? However, or like, for example, the fireman pole that a lot of playgrounds have, but it's spelled differently, first off. Secondly, I know that it just doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like they will be talking about fireman poles in a story like this. So I read on, and if you read, you will see, for example, it says, on Election Day, United States citizens age 18 and older can vote. They can vote in special places called polls. I noticed that. So my context clue would be vote in special places called, in the word polls. My definition is where voters go to vote. I mean, it's that simple. I just read it. I saw it. I read it. I knew it. I'm a strong third grader, right? If I'm you. If I'm me, I'm a strong teacher. And I know that that's the definition. And then I look up the reference definition, which says the place where people go to vote. Okay? If you have any questions, you may direct them to your teacher. I hope you have a wonderful day.